President Donald Trump deterred the Russians from invading Ukraine?
We didn't sanction Nord Stream 2. We should have. We should have brought the project to an end. We did impose sanctions on Russian oligarchs and several others because of their sales of S-400 anti-aircraft systems to other countries. But in almost every case, the sanctions were imposed with Trump complaining about it, saying we were being too hard. The fact is that he barely knew where Ukraine was. He once asked John Kelly, his second chief of staff, if Finland were a part of Russia. It's just not accurate to say that Trump's behavior somehow deterred the Russians. This is not really a policy argument. This is about Trump's lack of any significant historical knowledge, his lack of strategic thinking, and frankly, his lack of thinking about pretty much anything other than what benefited Donald Trump. Why was he concerned about Ukraine in the summer of 2019? Because he wanted that DNC server. Why was he concerned about corruption in Ukraine? Because he was looking for an excuse to cover the reason he was refusing to send $250 million of security assistance to the Ukraine.
I mean, Willie Geist, there is a guy that was at Donald Trump's side through it all there and just absolutely eviscerated this asinine argument that Trumpists, by the way, pro-Putin Trumpists, keep saying,
who got us here?
Who got us here? Yeah. Oh, if only Donald Trump had been there. And as we heard time and time again, every time Congress passed sanctions against Russia, Donald Trump was the one that his advisors were having to drag him along. He was constantly complaining. He was blackmailing Ukraine. As John Bolton said, his national security advisor said, Trump was the one that was blackmailing Ukraine and didn't want to send those weapons because he was trying to dig up dirt and he was trying to get servers.
Yeah, that's the key point right there. And as you say, John Bolton made it too. The entire reason Donald Trump was impeached the first time was because he was trying to hold up security aid to Ukraine for moments like this to defend itself against a Russian invasion. And that is John Bolton, and I understand all the arguments with John Bolton and Bill Barr as well. It's too little, too late, it's reputation laundering and all that. But in this case, John Bolton is telling the truth about an argument made on Newsmax, we should point out, which is an obviously purely pro-Donald Trump network, where they lead you to the answer they're hoping to get. And in that case, John Bolton didn't give it to him, saying, no, this argument that Donald Trump was tougher on Russia is asinine. I don't think John Bolton's a huge fan of Joe Biden always or his policies, but in this case, he's punching holes, Jonathan Lemire, in the idea that if Donald Trump were president today, things would be much different in Ukraine. That's probably true, but not in a good way.
Right. What has stood up to Ukraine right now is the strong alliances in Europe and NATO, both things that Donald Trump undermined repeatedly during his time in office. I was there in Brussels when he threatened to walk out of NATO, when he would not commit. Pointedly, he took out of the speech the commitment to Article 5, which is the Mutual Defense Pact. He wouldn't say it there in Brussels in front of the European leaders. He, of course, warred with the other heads of state over there, saying the EU was one of the United States' biggest rivals and foe. He used the word foe to describe them. And, of course, he was impeached over trying to blackmail Ukraine over the very defensive missiles they're now using, the Javelins and such, to repel Russian forces. And we certainly know there's a long history of him cozying up to Vladimir Putin as both candidate and president, no more so than in Helsinki when he sided with the Russian president over the U.S.'s own intelligence forces.